have exactly the same house, exactly the same house, you have exactly the same savings, that's a G by the way, of 100K, okay, and the house is worth 100K, that's the value, right? But this time you decide you're going to buy on a mortgage. How much will the bank lend you as an investment mortgage? Typically, how much will the bank lend you as an investment mortgage?
So your own house for your investment property.
Investment property. What
Yeah.
percentage? Close, Anna? Close? 75. Okay, 75%, they'll lend you 75K. Okay, now some will lend more. I urge you, do not borrow more. Okay, do not borrow more.
Yeah, some do 80 as well, but typically 75% is a benchmark.
Correct.
Yeah.
And in 10 years' time, how much is this house worth again? Okay, 200, exactly. 20 years' time, how much is the house worth?
400.
400.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting, okay? Because if you're on an interest-only mortgage, now there's two types of mortgages. We're going to go through this a little bit later in the weekend, but there's two types of mortgages. Interest-only, where you're only paying the interest and the actual debt doesn't go down, it stays the same. Or you've got capital and interest repayment, where you're paying the interest and you're paying down some of the debt, which means you're sacrificing cash flow to reduce the mortgage.
Typically, for your own home, that's the mortgage you get. But for investment, you have a choice, and then most investors choose interest only. There's a reason for it.
Okay, we will go through that this weekend, but I want to show you something interesting. On an interest-only mortgage, what happens to the value of the mortgage in 10 years' time? Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. So we're starting to do some funky stuff. Nothing, exactly. It stays at 75K.
Yeah.
Okay, and then in 20 years' time, what's happened to the value of the mortgage? Okay, nothing. It stays exactly the same. Now check this out. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Okay, because your equity, which is the difference between the value of the property and the amount that you owe on a mortgage, your equity to start off with, okay, is how much? Okay, so your equity over here is how much? 25K. Okay, and then your equity over here in 10 years' time is how much?
Yep,
125K. Okay, and then your equity here is how much? Okay.
Oh, is that right?
325K.
Yeah.
Interesting, right? So the value of your money has gone up significantly. Now let me show you something else very cool. Okay, let me show you something else very cool. So if you were to buy this house on a mortgage, okay, how much deposit would you need? The bank lends you 75%. How much deposit would you need? Understand, I know there's other costs and other stuff to consider. I'm trying to go through the concept.
Yeah.
Okay.
25K.
25K. Now, if it only costs you 25K and you've got 100K in savings, how many houses can you buy? Okay. Okay, 4. So that means you have 4 houses at 100K each, 4 mortgages at 75K each, and 4 deposits. Okay, which means your portfolio is worth 400K. Your mortgages are worth how much? Okay, exactly 300K. And of course, your deposits are worth 100K.
Yeah.
Okay, nice and simple. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. This is why I like mortgages, okay? Because you can start to use a bit of leverage. Because in 10 years' time, how much is the value of your portfolio? Okay, 10 years' time, how much is your portfolio worth? Okay.
I can't do 8.
I'm going to give you guys a second because I'm looking for answers for this. This is important that you get this.
Yeah.
Okay, exactly. It's 800K. Okay. I'd like more of you to be answering, not just Anna, who's being amazing, by the way. Thank you, Anna.
Yeah.
Okay. How much are your mortgages at this point? Okay. Thank you, Hussein. Okay. How much are your mortgages?
The answer is on the screen.
75K each. It doesn't change, which means it'll still be the 300K.
Yeah. You've got 4 houses.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, and then your deposit is still 100K. Now I know some of you guys are going to go, I get where he's going here. Let me show you something. 20 years down the line, how much is your portfolio worth? 20 years down the line, how much is your portfolio worth? 1.6 million. And of course, your mortgages are still the same, and your deposit is still the same. Now, if you're to sell this at this point, okay, 20 years down the line, how much pre-tax profit would you make? Okay, this is where it gets really interesting.
Anna says 600.
1.2 million pounds. Okay, because you got your 1.6 million minus your mortgages, minus your deposits. Okay, equates to a 1.2 million pound profit. Now, has your investment pot changed? Or is it still exactly
Over the two scenarios, yeah?
No, it's exactly the same, right?
Yeah.
The difference is you've been clever and you have leveraged the bank. Okay, that's right. Doesn't matter. It's all good.
By the way, bank's money is other people's money. It's not your money, but you leverage their money to
make you more money.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's absolutely fine, Anna. No problems whatsoever, my love. Okay, so let me ask, who'd rather make 1.2 million instead of 300,000 over the next 20 years without having to work for it? Who'd rather do that? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Okay, and that is why we leverage the banks. Okay, that's why we do this whole thing.